Hey, just so you know, we're live, okay?
I,
We're on
I know.
YouTube right now as I'm saying this.
Yeah, perfect timing. I just finished up my short trade on NVTA.
All right.
Hope they bring us some news, brother.
I ain't bringing this shit.
We should place bets on if they were going to start on time. They don't have to give us the catalyst to get us to $10, but just give us something that keep us alive.
Yeah, like doing their fucking job. I hate to start sounding. Actually, it's like. Actually, I don't hate to start sounding cynical because it's been a fucking year and a half. I'm fucking tired of this shit.
What would be funny is if we could start hearing our voices on their live stream because they're watching us live YouTube.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. And you hear Bob whisper, "How the fuck did I shut this off?"
They're like, God damn it, Broadridge fucked up again.
Yeah.
The conference will begin shortly. To raise your hand during Q&A, you can dial *11.
Oh man, we actually have a lot of people in the comments.
Yeah, we have 48 people watching us right now. Hey, make sure you hit the like button.
Go ahead and subscribe too,
Yeah.
if you haven't.
And don't forget to hit the tip button.
Yeah.
I'd be more impressed if they played some classic rock.
What do you think they would play?
How about TNT, Dirty Deeds Done Right? A little ACDC. A couple new names in our chat box. They dialed in for the important stuff.
Oh, Johnny. Giovanni. I don't know why I said Johnny. I'm sorry.
Good day.
Giovanni, thank you for the
for
tip.
standing by. Welcome to Predictive
All right, I'm gonna mute my
Oncology's
mic.
second quarter 2022 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are on a listen-only mode. After the speaker's presentation, there'll be a question and answer session. To ask a question during the session, you'll need to press star 11 on your telephone. Please be advised that today's conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand the conference over to your speaker today, Teresa Ferguson, Senior Director of Marketing for Predictive Oncology. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you to everyone dialing in. We are pleased to be here today. Joining us for the call will be Mel Engel, CEO. Then we'll hear from Bob Myers, CFO, and Dr. Pamela Bush, SVP of Strategic Sales and Business Development. Following our prepared remarks, we will open it up for discussion with questions and answers. You will find the pre-registration link for Q&As on the webcast screen. Note that this call will be recorded and includes forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. These forward-looking statements are based on management's current expectations, estimates and projections about our industry, our management's beliefs and certain assumptions made by our management. Words such as expects, plans, intends, anticipates, believes, estimates, seeks, variations of such words, and similar expressions are intended to identify such forward-looking statements. These forward-looking statements are not guarantees of future performance and are subject to risks and uncertainties, including the risks described in public filings with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The company's actual results may differ materially from the anticipated results reflected in these forward-looking statements. We'll begin with Predictive Oncology's CEO, Mel Engel.
Thank you, Teresa, and welcome and thank you for joining us for our second quarter shareholder earnings call. Today, we will share the latest developments at Predictive Oncology. Then we'll give you an overview of last quarter's earnings and end with an update on our commercialization efforts. The first move we made to further strengthen Predictive Oncology's scientific and product strategies is with the appointment of Dr. Julia Kirshner as Chief Scientific Officer. Dr. Kirshner was elevated from her role as Senior Vice President of Predictive Oncology and President of Z-Predicta, the company she founded and the company that Predictive Oncology acquired in the fourth quarter of last year. Dr. Kirshner will focus on the integration of Predictive Oncology's product lines and direct future development of our scientific programs. She will also be working closely with Dr. Bush to identify and meet customer needs, as well as provide expanded solutions leveraging artificial intelligence in drug development. Dr. Kirshner is highly respected for her academic and startup experience. Most notably at Z-Predicta, she is responsible for creating the tumor-specific in vitro 3D models that reconstruct tissue microenvironments and mimic drug response, which is part of our key product line offerings in drug development. Her innovative approach to science and strong background in research make her an ideal fit to lead the long-term vision for Predictive Oncology's product development strategy, with Dr. Bush drive adoption of current Predictive Oncology's assets and guide product iteration. We look forward to bringing more synergy between our businesses and finding opportunities to provide greater value to our customers. Scientific leaders within the company will be reporting into Dr. Kirshner, and she will be working closely with the board of directors to establish a new scientific advisory board. As we move forward, Dr. Kirshner will continue to oversee Z-Predicta and will transition site leadership in the next 3 to 6 months. Our second move is Predictive Oncology's decision to streamline the company's research and development operations, which Dr. Kirshner will oversee. Predictive Oncology will consolidate its tumor genesis division by moving this business from Massachusetts to our flagship location in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. By doing this, Predictive Oncology can better focus on growth opportunities with our artificial intelligence technology and lab functions while reducing overhead and centralizing scientific operations. This creates better efficiencies and provides the potential to bring in greater revenue levels as we explore more expanded offerings for clients in the pharmaceutical and biotech industries who are looking to bring more effective cancer treatments to the market. Dr. Bush will share more about the business development and marketing efforts underway, but first, Bob Myers will share about the quarterly earnings. Bob?
Thank you, Mel. The financial results from our second quarter ended June 30, 2022, show a strong balance sheet with a solid cash balance, commensurate equity, and no debt. Cash and cash equivalents grew from $25 million on March 31, 2021 to $28 million at quarter end 2022, which represents a positive change of 12%. Predictive Oncology's recognized net sales revenue of $0.4 million for the quarter was an increase of 6% from the comparative 3-month period in 2021. The company's gross profit margin grew from 59% in June 2021, to 64% for the comparable quarter of 2022. Net cash used in operating activities was $6.4 million and $5.5 million for the 6 months ended June 30, 2022 and June 30, 2021, respectively, primarily because of the increase in operating costs and the launch of our PEDAL commercial strategy. General and administrative expenses increased from $2.1 million in the quarter ended June 30, 2021 to $2.4 million for the corresponding quarter in 2022. Operations expenses increased from $0.6 million in the quarter ended June 30, 2021 to $0.9 million in the quarter ended June 30, 2022, primarily due to higher staffing and Z-Predicta. This was partially offset by the timing of research and development expenses and lower consulting fees. Quarterly sales and marketing expenses of the company increased by $0.1 million for the quarter ended June 30, 2022, to $0.3 million as compared to the corresponding period in 2021, due to staff-related expenses and the implementation of advertising and marketing initiatives. I'd like to discuss the goodwill expense of the current quarter. Current market conditions, coupled with Predictive Oncology's lower quantitative valuation of Z-Predicta, resulted in $7.2 million of the non-cash goodwill impairment. This was required due to GAAP standards related to the price we originally paid for Z-Predicta, Predictive Oncology's quarter-ending stock price, and our value differential between our cash position and market cap. While we cannot yet report on the potential contracts we have, Predictive Oncology is anticipating stronger business growth in the second half of the year, with current and potential customers of its validated 3D tumor model for multiple myeloma, which is an existing model, breast cancer, an existing new model, and pancreatic cancer, also an existing new model, as well as the testing of immuno-oncology therapies. Also, now that we validated our PEDAL platform at a statistically significant 92% drug response accuracy rate, have begun commercialization efforts, and are implementing highly targeted marketing initiatives, we expect to begin seeing results of those efforts in the next 2 quarters. On a final note, we are looking forward to attending the Investors Summit in New York this November. I will now pass the conversation along to Dr. Bush, who will share about our progress in sales and marketing. Pamela?
Thank you, Bob. This has been a busy quarter for our sales and marketing team at Predictive Oncology. We kicked off our commercialization efforts for PEDAL at BIO International in San Diego, one of the largest industry conferences attended by pharmaceutical and biotech companies looking for solutions to advance their drug development initiatives. Our team participated in more than 50 one-on-one partnership meetings and initiated conversations through other networking opportunities at the conference. Predictive Oncology is in conversation with numerous potential customers and are building our pipeline with additional marketing efforts to be implemented this quarter. We have created and activated a strategic marketing plan targeting key decision makers with prospective customers. We also completed a comprehensive landscape market analysis to better understand specifically how our AI technology fits into the drug development marketplace, and we are leveraging that information as we pursue business development opportunities. We intend on closing deals before the end of the year. We are expanding our offerings with a 3D tumor cell model capable of maintaining cell viability for over 30 days. Our sales team is in conversation with current and prospective customers. In addition to our existing solutions with multiple myeloma models, we have added validated models for breast and pancreatic cancer and are extending the use of our tumor-specific models to offer testing of immuno-oncology therapies. Immuno-oncology is a promising area of oncology, but the technologies to evaluate the efficiency and potency of immuno-oncology compounds and examining interactions between cancer cells and the immune system are currently very limited. Predictive Oncology's 3D tumor model system will enable drug developers to make these evaluations. This will expand our customer footprint and will drive the development of new cancer treatments. We are excited to share that the completion date of our GMP facility is late August. This means we will have expanded our in-house ability to support formulation solutions and endotoxin removal in the drug development process through clinical trials. We anticipate strong growth with this product line. In addition to the team's presence at BIO International in San Diego, we will have representation at BIO Europe this October. As we move forward, our goal is to demonstrate our strength as one predictive oncology company with a suite of solutions along the drug development continuum from early discovery up to clinical trials. We're excited about the next 2 quarters and look forward to sharing updates as we move into the second half of the year. Now, I will pass the call back to Mel.
Thank you, Dr. Bush, and thank you for your effort and hard work you have been putting into our business development initiatives, especially with the current discussions underway. At Predictive Oncology, we look forward to the launching of our products and the positive impact of having a Chief Scientific Officer in place, a Scientific Advisory Board, and the consolidation of our research and development operations. Next, we will open up the conference call for Q&As. Please see the information on the screen to register for questions.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question, you'll need to press star 11 on your telephone. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. One moment for our first question. And our first question comes from Chris Birch with Wealth Advisory Board. Your line is now open.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chris.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. I'd like for you to elaborate to the goodwill write-off. Would it be a fair assumption to say that if it weren't for that goodwill write-off and the warrants that exercised, that the earnings report would look completely different? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the goodwill, obviously goodwill is a one-time expense. We've decided to, we could have spread it out a little bit and argued valuation, but it was appropriate to take it now. Many companies across the board are involved in the same thing, and that is a direct result of the market on such a downswing. So yes, of course, it affects our yearly and quarterly reporting as an additional expense, but we consider it extraordinary. And if you remove that puts us kind of ahead of last year. In terms of warrant exercises, we haven't had any warrant exercises during the course of this year, our price being down where it is, but we are hopeful that will pick up, because that's a natural method of cash that comes to us without over dilution. I think that the market price is down because the market is in a horrible swing right now. Everything is down. The chances for us to increase our market price are in the future as we record deals, as we start showing revenue, and as we verify all the things that we have now talked about. So we're very confident in that, but it hasn't really changed very much, if you'll notice, over the past month or two.
And last, could you speak to a little bit more detail on the completion of the lab at the end of the month?
Sure. Mel, do you want me to take that?
Sure, go ahead, Bob. You're on a roll.
Okay. Chris, yeah, this is absolutely great news, and we've got so many customers lined up, and we have just been chomping at the bit to get this done. We have actually received our city permit. Everything is done there. The HVAC is completing. So in the next week, 2 weeks, we will have a completed GMP. We already, as I said, have customers that are discussing work with us to go through the GMP process, and we'll have a pretty good announcement, not necessarily on the customers, but on another exciting aspect of that lab coming up shortly. So everything is ready to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. One moment for our next question, please. And our next question comes from Michael Broadbent with Bedrock Group Incorporated. Your line is now open.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having the shareholder call today. My question is really about the share price and I was hopeful for a positive EPS on this quarter's earnings, but with the miss and where the share price is right now after the sell-off, it feels like we're headed toward a reverse split, and compliance seems out of reach at this point for the company. Outside of looking at the year performance for the company from start of the year to current, with LabCorp announcements and ZPredicta's inclusion in revenue only $100,000 for the quarter, and I'm not sure what to expect for that company's additions to the revenue for next quarter as well. How does the company expect to regain compliance for NASDAQ listing requirements and avoid the reverse split? I, as a shareholder, honestly, I feel like I would be voting against it. And I'd say I have a larger position than a lot of the institutions that have invested in POAI. And I think most retail investors who have been holding this for 1 to 2 years, who are pretty beat up on the stock price as well, would vote similarly to myself. Can you provide specifics what the company's direction and plan is to avoid a fight with shareholders over reverse split in the next 6 months?
Mel, I'm going to grab that again if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
Michael, good to speak to you again. First and foremost,
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. So first and foremost, the company, Predictive Oncology, and please hear this well, is not thinking of a reverse stock split anytime soon. Now, we have until November to reach compliance. That is a difficult chore. You know it, you said it, you made good background as to why it's a difficult situation in a market where everybody is down. However, we've been in this spot before, and we know how to deal with it, and we know how to get compliance. And most importantly, we have a 6-month extension that we can take in November to get us through to the next May of 2023. In that 6-month extension, which virtually everybody receives, it's a given. Rarely does NASDAQ not allow that extension to occur. And in that, we will formulate a plan to NASDAQ as to why we will succeed in compliance, how we will get there. And yes, one of the things that would be included would be a board-approved reverse split. But that does not mean that we have to do the reverse split. It does not mean that we will do the reverse split. That would be an absolute last-ditch effort. It is our belief, with the revenue that we will book through the course of the next couple of quarters, and more importantly, the beginning of next year, and the amount of deals that we will make, especially through Petal, will overcome some of the market situations and bring our compliance up. Additionally, we have hired a firm, a marketing firm. It's a full-fledged public relations integrated marketing firm. It's called Health Mavens. They are not only helping us in public relations, and they are not only helping us in media work and how to brand the company. They are actively working with Pamela Bush, Dr. Bush, on increasing our sales and planning, and actually already in effect with a marketing plan to those customers. We have a large list of people that we're talking to, I should say companies, forgive me, that we're talking to. These companies are interested, and Health Mavens is a company that knows how to get the word to the right people in those companies, as well as the contacts we have, and to the right people in companies similar to those. So that's going to be a huge addition. So let's first look at reverse split for a half second, Michael. Again, this is not on our minds, and we have no intention of going there. And I believe that we will bring this market price into compliance well before the May deadline. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that we had absolutely no choice but to do a reverse split. And you say that you would adamantly voted against it. I want you to really think about that, and I'd be more than welcome to speak to you or anybody else directly about that. If we ever get into that position, you are talking about maintaining our company's compliance in NASDAQ. and all the investments that have been put through so far over these years, and to vote no would in effect be removing us from NASDAQ and spiting, to use an old saying, your own nose off your face. Now, I hope never to get there. I don't believe we're going to get there, but let's suspend that thought for a number of months, and we will continue to work on bringing our price up as quickly as possible.
I appreciate that. If I can, based on your response, may I ask one more follow-up question?
Of course.
With SEC compliance and FINRA compliance as well, obviously you can't give me an exact number, but you mentioned that there's a lot in the works in the upcoming future. Can you provide a forward-looking projection of where you see EPS and bottom line revenues in the next 3 months, 6 months, and a year? Will we see a significant increase over the annual $2.5 to $4 million gross revenue, bottom line net as negative EPS? Or when will we see a positive EPS and revenue growth?
Okay, so very good question, and I can be reasonably clear on that. First and foremost, and I'm going to come back to ZPredicta, and you'll see as we go along over the coming months and next year that we'll be talking more and more only about predictive oncology, that these divisions will be more integrated through product line and will stand as one predictive oncology. But ZPredicta, the reason that you have not seen the kind of revenue growth that we prognosticated at the acquisition is predominantly due to two things. One is revenue recognition. ZPredicta, back in the days of being private, recognized revenue as projects were being issued. You can't do that. We cannot recognize the revenue under today's rules until completion of the project based on the types of projects we're doing. So we are sitting with revenue that we definitely will have over the next 2 quarters and going into the early quarters of next year. We also have a number of customer jobs that are completed but not approved yet, and the completion takes a bit of testing and time. So those 2 will occur, and then we will be able to recognize that revenue. I will definitely tell you, I cannot tell you amounts, but I would definitely tell you that there is revenue to be recognized from the ZPredicta liver and lung cancer models that we have. And that's a first. We never expected to be able to do that during the course of 2022. We anticipated that might go to 2023. As far as the revenue for this year, it may not go to the point of beyond the $1.5 or $2 million because it has taken us quite a bit of time to organize our marketing, to organize our advertising, to hire the right firm and health mavens for Dr. Bush to put together her connections, to hire Teresa Ferguson and the wonderful job she too has done for us. And this is all in place now, but it's not like an Apple phone where people are waiting online to just buy us up. We have to go out and we have to meet with these firms. Some of them we've talked to last year, and just show them what our product can do for them and where we have succeeded. So you will see that increase in the first couple of quarters next year, and you will see a much improved revenue line at the end of 2023, which obviously will follow with a more positive earnings per share. I hope that helps anyway.
Yeah, and there's no way for the company to provide an actual forward guidance like other listed companies would. We expect revenue growth of 20%, 50%, 130%. We'd love to see an EPS of $3 one day.
Michael, you and I both. We can't do that, and the reason is, and you have to understand, we are turning from a R&D based company to a commercialized company, and we're doing it with a product that most people do not have. a product that works with a database that companies do not have, and the AI core program that has succeeded in a way that others haven't. And therefore, there is no way to tell that once we begin our sales process, well, we've begun it, but we start succeeding in our sales process, how quickly this thing will move. I know that we have had positive answers. We've had people asking us, what else can we do with it? What's our next step with it? And we're already working on that. So we're not in a position to offer percentages, but I certainly hope so as we develop a history.
Last comment, I'll mute myself, let somebody else speak. Last call we had, which we were appreciative of as well, you mentioned there were deals on the table for the PEDAL formula technology. And I asked the same question of whether the internal validation or external validation was in place. Has there been any pushback on the internal validation, and what's the response from potential partners for the PEDAL, and when do you expect the first contract to be signed?
Pamela, do you want to handle that?
Absolutely. So thank you, Michael, for that. So there have been questions about the validation, of course, and we have shared those. The response has been positive. As we talk to the different aspects of the sales cycle, we're talking with business individuals, we're talking to scientists, we're sharing the data with them once we have an NDA in place. And there is absolute comfort in the information that we are providing. With respect to having a contract in place, as I said in my prepared remarks, the goal is to have at least one contract in place before the end of the year. But we have, as Bob mentioned, we are talking to multiple companies. We came with a very good group of companies that are interested in the product from Bio, and we are following up with them, starting conversations about specific projects that they're interested in engaging to utilize PEDAL to utilize it for their oncology pipeline development.
Can you tell me how many NDAs are in place right now?
No, I'm sorry, Michael. I can tell you that we have, how do I want to say it without that? We have a number of them, certainly more than one.
Okay.
And
let's move on. Let's go on to the next question.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'm currently showing no further questions. I'd like to hand the conference back over to Mr. Engel for any closing remarks.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this call. If we couldn't get to your questions, please feel free to contact either Keith Pinder at Landon Capital or Teresa Ferguson, our Senior Director of Marketing, and they will respond accordingly.
Well, hey Todd, you there?
Yeah, I was gonna. They ended it because they were afraid of the next questions coming their way. We were on a pathway where I say, Michael, good job, Michael, on
Great job, for real, man.
Yeah, you're professional and articulated a good, clear thoughts there.
You worded it a lot better than I would have.
Listen, motherfucker. No, seriously, I think that there was they knew what the next questions were going to be, and I think they may have been in a gray area even when they told us that they're hoping to have a contract in place by the end of the year, because clearly, if it's the right contract, it's going to be a catalyst that'll move us in the right direction.
But I mean, that's kind of obvious, but they've been saying that shit for the last year and a half. Like, the whole can kicking, down the road, it's like, it needs to stop. Like, we need something. For them to have 92% accuracy, this should be flying off the shelf. Like, contracts should just be piling in. Like, pharmaceutical companies should just be trying to fight each other just to get them to do work which would then just create so much demand. Someone would just say, I'm buying them out. 92% accuracy with any kind of algorithm. Oh, man, like there should just not be really any competition. That's what doesn't make any sense. Like 92, if you show somebody something that can give them 92% accuracy and there's nothing else close to it in the market, like there shouldn't even be consideration of, well, what else can you do? You know, it should be like, you show me and shit, where do I sign this check?
So what I don't understand is that, like, is my focus or my thought that what they have is this is a tiger by the tail, or am I missing something? Because it just seems like they have the freaking cure to cancer.
Yeah, it's the way Bob's been trying to make it sound like the last year and a half. And I know I'm sounding just like bitter because I am bitter. Like, this shit is ridiculous. Like, talking about revenue next year and shit. Like, Jesus. Like patting themselves on the backs for these GMP labs. You know, these fucking GMP labs are supposed to be done at the beginning of this year. I mean, it's aggravating. Well, I'm reading comments right now.
I am too.
Hey, Michael, don't be sorry. So there are people saying that there are people in line. I'm not sure. If you really were in line, like, let us know. Like, don't BS just to cause something dramatic. We need to know the truth, you know?
I think part of our job is that we have to read between the lines. And I think there are a few things that I'm reading. This is my opinion, that
Michael's hitting close to home with them questions.
Yeah.
I like that.
They said they're looking for a contract by the end of the year. That's the first time we got a concrete timeline of any level. So that was good.
I wouldn't say that. Like, Bob has said that shit last year. Like,
all right. He said Michael's question about how many NDAs, which we knew they weren't going to answer, but it took them out of script and they scrambled. I believe there was more than several NDAs. So I think that's a positive thing. And that might be my optimism kicking in there. But I thought that was a good question because they knew they couldn't answer it. We knew they couldn't answer it.
Well, what's wrong with the answer and saying I have 8 NDAs right now?
I don't know if that would be a violation of something with the SEC.
It's not.
It could be.
You're not disclosing nothing. You're just saying that you're under 8 contracts that you can't disclose or talk about.
But they just told us an NDA is to a potential contract or potential customer. I think if I heard they had 8 signed NDAs, that would be something that would affect the stock price.
Okay, but that doesn't make sense because all these conferences and all these like meetings that they're having supposedly with the pharmaceutical companies, those are all potential customers, you know, in contracts. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't see how you just can't say I'm under X amount of NDAs.
No,
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I'm just letting everybody else know who's listening in. Like, I'm not like arguing this based off of like some legal knowledge. Like, I don't really know, but I'm just saying like that's just my personal opinion. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. Anyone can correct me.
Do you think they're going to open up Q&A down the road? Because I think
hell no.
I think this is the last time they do Q&A.
That's the last one. I think it's the last Q&A.
Yep.
It's like
they're like, motherfuckers, we're not going to deal with this shit anymore.
That's the thing that like that's just the beginning of the deep questions.
Right.
So just so y'all know, this is YouTube, and YouTube records the videos live. So you can come back and watch us again.
Yeah, we had almost 120 people in here. So good job coming out and being part of the group, listening in. Appreciate the commentary and being part of the Stockcast Transparent Traders Black Box family. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's see. I'm still reading through comments. Chuck, yes, the call is over.
Well, the reverse split would be bad. I mean, so from their position, Marthel, I do think that if I was in their shoes and someone brought up a reverse split, I would take a hardline response and be like, hey, that you have to wait very carefully, because that would be a really death blow.
The thing is, like, they know that. It's like one of those situations where they know they have our backs against the wall of, well, guys, I mean, you could burn this damn bridge, but you go down. I mean, that's how they're treating it. Like acting like, hey, like, if you guys want to screw this up, more power to you. You know, like we did this or some shit, you know?
Yeah. So one thing I would like to see from
the audacity. That's what pisses me off. The fucking audacity.
One thing I would like to see from Bob, Mel, and others insiders, I'd like to see about $500,000 to $750,000 insider purchase take place. Dollars.
Yeah.
That would be a vote of confidence that we all would welcome, I think.
I mean, with their $300,000 to $400,000 salaries, like, I mean, it shouldn't be hard to buy any fucking shares.
Right. Maybe we should go to Minnesota and go walleye fishing and meet Bob and Mel at the dock and talk to them about this. They're in Minnesota. They're not going to the Hamptons. They're going walleye fishing.
Yeah, hold on, I'm reading comments. Man, comments are rolling in.
Oh, we got a few walleye fishermen here. Nice. I like that. Think about doing walleye for dinner tonight from a fresh catch a couple weeks ago. I don't think the board, my opinion, the board of directors have been handpicked. They get paid a stipend, a healthy stipend at that, to be there. They get free shares. They're not gonna do anything to dump Bob and Mel. Airhead 8, didn't know that. I thought he lived where the company's headquarters was in Minnesota. Well, look at that. These have an address in Minnesota. That's weird. So people are tailing off, dropping out. I appreciate everyone tuning in here, being part of our conversation, part of our live stream, part of our thoughts. There's a lot of violent comments in here about offing the leadership.
Okay. We should probably go and end it there before the comments get too wild.
Yeah. Jesus, I'm gonna start looking over my shoulder as I go out to get the mail.
Like, I know I'm a messed up person, but man, some of y'all.
Concrete shoes. I'll bring the boat. Making the headline news for Cap Knees.
Well, all I have to say is, Bob, if you're watching right now, just read the comments. And this is very, very minor. If everybody actually said what they truly felt, like, man, dude, it would destroy you, Bob, in predictive oncology. I mean, for fuck's sakes, like all the emails we got from Bob and all the shit he has said to so many people, whew, that probably would not be good if it all came up. Like if it all got collected and if it all just came up together. Just saying.
Yeah, I got to think that he's in a dangerous gray zone. So, well, it's Friday afternoon. Hope you guys had a good day trading if you traded. Hope you guys have a good weekend. And
man, I'll be honest, hell no, I'm not gonna have a good weekend. This shit's just gonna piss me off. I'm just gonna Bob pisses me off. That's all I'm just gonna say. Just leave it there.
This was a lot better than what they could have said, James. They could have said earnings suck and we are going to be proposing a reverse split. And then that would have been a death blow. But they could have said that. We have no NDAs. We have no potentials. We have a great product, but we don't know what the fuck to do with it. So we are in bad shape. The 100% extension until May shouldn't worry you. That's pretty commonplace. That's pretty common practice in the business. It's almost a joke that they have this 6-month extension because it's rarely ever not granted.
Like the thing I hate about it is the fact that, golly, I can't even remember how far back when people started talking about reverse splits and everything. And them actually like having it, like it's actually wrapped up in the plan. Like the extension is a part of the plan. Like, and that's what kills me. The freaking extension for compliance should never be in the plan. The plan should be unfuck your company, get some fucking money coming in. Like that's how this should work. Like it's like somebody on, okay, this is exactly, here's an analogy I feel like is appropriate. It's like somebody saying, don't worry, I can finance this, talking to somebody else. Like, don't worry, I can finance this. And if worst case scenario, my, what's it called with the bank? Do some of y'all's banks have this like withdrawal protection, whatever? Like, I don't know if USAA has it, but I knew of another bank that like they would let you go like X amount of dollars, like $1,000 or so in the red, like true red, like you owed them, no credit line or nothing. It was called like a withdrawal protection,
overdraft protection.
Overdraft protection, yes, yeah. It would be like trying to say, hey, I can finance this. And don't worry, if I actually don't have the money there, I have overdraft protection that will cover this.
And Newsflash: you have to pay the overdraft balance back.
Yeah, but like not even like that. It's just like you're using something that is there that should not be used. Like it's not a tool to be used to help you out, to give you more time. Like that's just like literally like you're finalizing shit and you just need a little bit more time, whatever, for compliance. It should not be a part of the fucking plan ever. Like the thought process that they have just kills me, man. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing about the market conditions. Well, the market conditions have us down. Where were you guys where were you the last fucking 10 years? Like, we just had the most, where were you since COVID? Since we joined, we had the most impressive V-shaped recovery, bullish rally ever. Where were you? You did like predictive, like you acted more like an inverse of the market. Like that shit just kills me. Like they need to stop saying that shit for real. Peter, here's my opinion of why write off the goodwill all at once instead of over time. I could be 100% wrong about this. Okay, we'll just say this. Let's just say I'm wrong about this from the get-go, so no one takes this in the wrong way. I would like to think that in their position, you write off all the goodwill because you really do need your books cleaned for something more significant. You know, just to make financials a lot easier. That's just my opinion. But when? Okay, so John Hastings took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, I think that's expected.
Didn't mean to even highlight that one. I was trying to delete it. I don't know why it won't let me delete that one. Okay, yeah, guys, like you guys can't be like making threats. Like even if you're just like joking out of aggravation. Because, you know, lo and behold, let them come up with the idea of, oh, well, we couldn't show no progress this last quarter because we felt threatened by the investors. Just give them an excuse and they'll run with it. Oh, Brittany, I don't know if you like wrote a comment or not. If you did, I didn't see it. I'm just talking about some of the other comments. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Same old nothing burger. Man, I'm just aggravated. Like where they're at now, we should have been at this point 1 year ago. Like 1 year ago, like I'm for real, like based off talking to them last year and reading everything that they wrote, reading all the filings, everything that was said, I expected where we're at right now to be where we were 1 year ago exactly.
Might be our most active show we put on.
It is. Oh, Brittany, I appreciate it. Thank you. So what a how ironic that a year ago was when I had the most viewed show by ranting off, and then a year later is when we have the most engaged show. You know what they say? Hey, put it this way. I was in a combat zone, and there was something that was brought up, and it just pissed me off, and I asked why. It's not because I was questioning my authority then. It's because I truly just needed to hear something from my leadership at this point. And the person who said it to me, he looked at me, he said, Mason, because shared misery is bonding misery. And honestly, like that worked for me, and I accepted it and I laughed, but it's so true. Shared misery is bonding misery.
No kidding.
All right. Well, I'm going to go and get off here, man, and just sit here and just stew in anger. But all right. Well, hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Man, I think we all feel the same about Predictive. You know, I feel like they really do have great potential, but just get some. They just have some issues at the top, man. Like, and it just kills me. But all right, guys, appreciate it. And we will catch y'all later.